What are we doing today on Spring Holler Farm? Well, we gathered a little bit of wood. This you might have already seen. And this, I'm sure you've already seen. Nice big pile there. What you haven't seen is all that. Now this right here is hickory. I want to get it split pretty fast because hickory goes bad quick. All that was standing dead oak. All this. We just gathered that in the last couple of days. This whole stack across here, plus a second stack behind it all the way across there. So, me and Randy gathered up a little bit of firewood in the last couple of days because I was afraid it was going to rain. And it did. It rained, and it rained, and it rained. My dog ate my rain gauge, so I don't know how much, but I'm going to guess at least 1.5 inches, maybe 2. And so far the basement stayed dry, so that's a good thing. But it just rained from around, I don't know, 4:30 until midnight. Steady, medium rain. Good soaking in rain. Kind you want in the summertime when things are growing. Kind you don't want in the cold season, because then everything just turns to mud for 2 or 3 days, which is the situation. So what I'm going to try to do is maybe split some, but I've had an issue going on, and I'll show you here. I don't know if you can see very well, but I put this board down so that it wouldn't do it, and then I didn't put it on the board in the right spot. I thought it was leaking in one space, but it's leaking in another place. Actually, the log splitter is leaking somewhere around here. I'm going to wipe it down real good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe it down real good with a rag, get it nice and clean. Then I'm going to fill it up with fuel. I'm going to fill it up with fluid. And then I'm going to split some wood. And then I'm going to park it and see where the leak is coming from, because it's leaking pretty good. But first, I'm going to make sure that the clamps and stuff are all nice and tight. Make sure it's not just some stupid, silly thing like that, because it never used to leak. It sat on the concrete all summer long and never leaked a drop. So it's just all of a sudden started leaking. It's still splitting wood, but it's leaking. So here we go. Okay, I got it all wiped down and cleaned up. If you look real careful, especially here from the top, you can see the air bubble in the line right there where it's been losing fluid. I noticed it acting up when I was splitting the other day. You pull the handle and it would hesitate. But it's all cleaned up, and this guy right here was loose. That pipe was sliding. I bumped the pipe and it slid, and it's like, okay, I think I found the problem. So I tightened it up. So now comes the real test. We're going to split some wood and then set it aside, see if it leaks some more. Okay, so got it cleaned up, filled up, gassed up, ready to go. We're going to take this little Superhandy that I got on Amazon almost 2 years ago now. It'll be 2 years ago next spring. This is the fall of 23, matter of fact, December 1st, and maybe December 2nd. It's Friday anyway, of 23, and I got this in March of 21, I think, right around there. So this little guy split a lot of wood. So far that leak's the only problem I've ever had with it, other than a couple of what I consider manufacturing defects. They're minor. A little black handle popping you in the elbow for one, and nothing to hold it on the track at the bottom, so if a piece of wood goes crooked, the thing goes crooked, and that can destroy your cylinder if you don't stop it before it goes too far. I've had it go pretty crooked quite a few times, and it hasn't destroyed nothing. Always starts right up, runs good. So let's try it out, see how she does again this season. finished up more than I expected to. I parked it here over this piece of dry wood stuff. If it leaks, we'll know. One thing I can say about this though is when you put it together, make sure you get it tight, and even then, I just realized I got not one but two bolts missing. When I was carrying it back, it was wobbling all around. It's like, why is it wobbling? So, periodically tighten things on this apparently. For instance, didn't even notice that was coming loose. That would be bad. Yeah. Periodically tighten the nuts and bolts on this. As far as the motor and the splitter part goes, it's been running great. Can't complain. It has been super handy. So, as you've seen, I split all the hickory, which it wasn't a whole lot of hickory. If it gets really, really cold next winter, it might give me 3 days, maybe 4. But I also split some of this oak. And as I showed you on there, that oak, I'm not sure exactly where that particular couple of chunks came from, but it was really wet, almost 30%. But this big tree here that these lunkers came off of, it had a small offshoot about the size of those, and it was green last year. The other was dead. The big part was dead, but the little part was still had leaves on it last year, so that might be what it is. Because it all came from the same tree. This is all from the same tree. So I'm going to say that this is the one that was still alive last year. And thus, why it was 30% moisture. So it's a good thing I got it split now. And I got to split the rest of it now. Yeah, so you can see right there, that's where it came in two, the big piece and the little piece. Yeah, we got to get this stuff split and stacked so it has plenty of time to dry for next year. As I also showed you with a piece of pine, I pulled out of the middle of the back pile, which is the first pile I made. And this is it right up here. And it still came up at 20 point something % moisture. After being stacked and sitting for a whole year, I figured it'd be more like 15 or 13. Burning pine at 20% scares me a little bit. Pine needs to be dry. It's safe to burn, but it needs to be dry. If it ain't dry, it can be a problem. So anyway, I will put a short up in the next day or two showing whether or not we leaked any oil. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Well, as we can see, there's no leak. No leak at all, so apparently that hose was the problem. And look, my wonderful lights outside too. Awesome, huh?